Hi everyone, today we have the clash of the titans, the Microsoft Surface Pro 3 versus the Microsoft Surface Pro 4. So let's look at some specs. So off the top of let's look at the physical attributes. So obviously they're roughly the same size. I mean, from a dimensions perspective, the Surface Pro 3, it's going across the top. You have like an 11.5 inch measurement here. Along the width is about 7.53 inches and it's about 0.3 inches thick. Whereas the Surface Pro 4, it also is 11.5 inches across, 7.93 inches wide and about 0.33 inches thin. So it's a little bit thinner than the Surface Pro 3. What they've done, they've put more of the technology in the screen against the glass, and done some other things, but to make it thinner. They could have gone even thinner, but because they still need to have that full USB 3.0 port on the side, they couldn't go any thinner. Looking at the Pro 3 and the Pro 4 surface covers, they're both pretty large. The Pro 4 has a larger trackpad than the 3, and it has a more Teflon-y feel to it. It has a glass surface. The Pro 3 still feels a bit cheap and plasticky, and there is some friction when you put your finger along the trackpad. The keys on the Pro 4 obviously they protrude above the plane, so you can actually see the keys even better and feel where the keys are. So you get more of a keyboard experience on the Pro 4's surface cover. The keys are more spread out as opposed to the Pro 3. Both of them are backlit. So the Pro 3 was launched back in 2014, around I think it was June 20th, 2014 this was launched. The Pro 4 was recently launched on October 26, 2015. Now when the Pro 3 was launched, it came with Windows Pro 8.1. Anybody who has a Pro 3 today, you can automatically upgrade to Windows 10 Pro for free. So and at the time of making this video, I believe that offer is still there. So take advantage of it before you have to start paying for it. Of course, now the Pro 4 comes pre-installed with Windows 10 Pro, so you don't have to worry about upgrading at the time of purchase. Now the Pro 3 has a 12-inch screen. Pro 4 has a 12.3 inch screen, so it's 0.3 of an inch larger. And if you look closely, they're roughly the same size physically, but the bezel on the 4 is smaller than on the 3. The way they've done that is, let me just move this down a bit. They've actually removed the Windows logo that's on the side here. So on the 3, you had this Windows logo capacitive. It was a capacitive button. They've removed it, and because of that, then they made the screen larger. That's pretty good as well. The Surface Pro 3 has a screen resolution of 2160 x 1440, or 216 pixels per inch. Pro 4 has an impressive 2736 times 1824 pixels, or 267 pixels per inch. Right? This even has a little bit more pixels per inch than the iPad Pro. Right? The iPad Pro, I believe, is 264 pixels per inch. From a dimensions perspective, they're roughly the same size. I mean, they're both 11.5 inches long. The Pro 4 is a little bit longer at 7.93 inches. The Pro 3 is 7.53 inches, and as I said, the Pro 4 is a little bit thinner. They both have USB 3.0 ports on the side here. Right, there's a USB 3.0 port on both of these, and then there's they both have a little slot at the bottom here for micro SD cards. And what else? So they both have the mini display port along the top here, right? And they have their power port right. I have this one plugged in because the battery was low on my Pro 4, but they both have the ports for charging. Plug that back in before I lose power. Now cameras. So the front-facing camera on both of them are 5 megapixels. Rear-facing camera on the Pro 3, however, is also a 5 megapixel camera. They've improved it on the Pro 4. The rear-facing camera is an 8 megapixel camera. From a weight perspective, The Pro 4 weighs about 1.73 pounds, and that's the two versions. The one that has the Intel i5 chip and the Intel i7 chip weighs around 1.73 pounds. The low-end Intel M3 chip Pro 4 weighs a little bit less at 1.69 pounds. The Pro 3, that's 1.76 pounds, so this is a little heavier. They both claim, Microsoft claims that they both last up to around 9 hours, natural of normal use. And from a sensor perspective, the Pro 3 has, the compass, ambient light, accelerometer, and gyroscope. The Pro 4 has the ambient light sensor, the accelerometer, the gyroscope, and the magnetometer. So that's built into the Pro 4. They both do 1080p video. And the video on both of them, like the quality is very, very nice. I mean, of course, the Pro 4 has, 267 pixels per inch. This one has 216 pixels per inch, but they're both pretty good screens. Now, the Surface Pro 3, it comes with 4th generation Intel processors, and there are 3 flavors. You have the Intel i3, i5, and i7. It comes with, you have 2 options when it comes to onboard RAM. You get a 4GB and an 8GB option. And as far as like storage, you get SSD storage, obviously, and you have 4 flavors. You have a 64GB, 128GB, 256GB, or 512GB of storage. On the other hand, now the Pro 4, it comes with 6th generation Intel processors. You have the low-end M3 processor, the mid-range i5 and then i7 models. You get 3 options when it comes to onboard RAM. You get a 4GB, 8GB, and 16GB option. And as far as SSD, you have the same 3 options that you do on the, actually you have a bit more on this. You start up at 128GB, then you have a 256GB, 512GB, and then if you have a lot of money to throw away, get the 1TB SSD as well, which is good. So that's a good point to note. They both obviously have Bluetooth 4.0 technology. And they have built-in Wi-Fi, of course, 802.11ab/GNN compatibility. The Pro 4, in addition to the 802.ab/GNN, also has 802.11ac compatibility when it comes to Wi-Fi. The Pro 4 also has the built-in TPM chip for additional security, which is an added bonus as well. And now they both have the patented kickstand technology, which allows you to be able to adjust the angle at any angle you want within that particular range of motion, and it will stick and hold that angle. And I find I've stress tested both of these for quite a while, and I've had obviously the Surface Pro 3 longer, and I've been using it a lot, and it still works well, so that's impressive. Now, the Surface Pro 4 has Pixel Sense technology. What is that exactly? Well, Pixel Sense technology can detect when you're using if your thumb or finger is touching it, or if you're using your stylus. So if it knows what input method is being used on the screen, it would optimize that experience for you. What Pixel Sense technology has as well, it can detect 1024 levels of pressure. So when I'm pressing and I'm writing on the screen with my stylus, if I press hard, just like in the real world pen or pencil situation, the line will get thicker. So it can actually detect that, so that's really nice. So I think when it comes to really simulating a real world writing experience in the digital world, the Surface Pro 4 has it down pat. Now, speaking of pens, that's an excellent segue to compare both the Surface Pro 3 and Surface Pro 4's pens. The Pro 4 pen, it's a little bit larger than the one that comes with the 3. And then obviously with the 3, we have 2 mouse buttons here. The 4 doesn't have any buttons on it, but what it does have, the back is like a magnetic strip which can attach itself to the side of the Pro 4. The Pro 3's doesn't have that, but that's alright. Now they both have the little hooks at the front, so you can connect into, you can put it in you can put your pen in your pocket, or if it's in a sleeve in a bag, you can attach your pen in there. Now the top of the pen for the Pro 3, it's a plastic button. This actually is a rubber button, so it feels like an eraser. But with the Pro 3, you can press the button, of course, and you can open OneNote. However, what I like about the Pro 4's pen, a lot more improvements. There's more functionality built into the pen. I mean, one, it has the eraser function, so you can turn it upside down and erase things on the screen. Two, if you just press it and hold it, just like click it like that, it will turn on OneNote. If you click it twice, it will take a screenshot. And if you hold down the button, you can summon Cortana as well. And for those of you who are not familiar with Cortana, Cortana is Microsoft's version of Apple's Siri. Now, don't despair, however. The Surface Pro 4's pen is backward compatible with that of the 3, and I believe it can stick to the side of the 3 as well. Yeah, it does a little. It does kind of, right? So you can buy it. You can keep your 3, and you can buy your pen, the new pen, and you can use it on this. It won't have the Pixel Sense technology, however, but still you can use it. Now, the type covers for both of these devices, they both have that lip technology, which as you saw just now, attaches itself to the bottom of the screen to make it more rigid. So you can actually put these on your lap and have that real laptop experience. The keyboards now, both keyboards have backlit keys. The trackpad on the Pro 3 is a little bit smaller than that on the 4. And it has a cheap plastic feel to it on the 3, the trackpad. The 4, it feels like somebody sprayed some Teflon on there. It feels nice and smooth. And it actually is a glass coating, I believe. It's bigger. The trackpad on the Pro 4 is bigger than that on the 3. And another thing to note, pretty obvious, the keys on the Pro 3 are all the same height. They're all within the same plane. The keys on the Surface Pro 4 are actually protruded up from the plane, so you can actually get a three-dimensional look and feel to the keys. And the keys on the Pro 4 are spread out better. So even at night when it's backlit, it looks much more, the keys are easier to identify and to find in the dark on the Pro 4 when compared to that of the Pro 3. Now, good thing guys, if you have a Pro 3, you can still buy the Surface cover for the Pro 4. It will work on the Pro 3 as well as the pen. Sorry, that's the Surface 3 pen. So you can use this Surface 4 pen and the type cover from the Pro 4, and you can use them on your Pro 3. So that's good to know as well. So that's just a quick high-level overview of the two. I'll be honest with you, if you already own a Pro 3, you don't necessarily need to upgrade to a Pro 4. But if you really need the latest and greatest, and you use your stylus a lot, and you want an enhanced experience using your stylus, get the Pro 4. But the Pro 3 is still pretty good. I mean, but the fact that you can use the newest keyboard and pen on the Pro 3, that helps extend the life of this, right? So that's good as well.